Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first AnCan Art Friends class of 2023. We are so excited to have you here. I am not in Texas right now. I'm in Arizona. I just came back from a conference of how me and Hannah can be better advocates for you and how we can better serve you with this art program. And believe me, we are going to have a meeting. We're going to the drawing board and we're going to look and see ways how we can make this even better and better. Real quick though, because one of our favorite things at AnCan is that people actually make friends here and they meet up. Hannah and I were friends. I knew Hannah before she came on to AnCan and I loved her, so we brought her on. But Hannah and I spent New Year's together. So just so you know, because people are like, are you guys actually friends? No, we all love each other. We do.
Yeah.
And I met her family and we had so much fun together, and we'll be at Texas AYA next month. So just so you know, yes, we really are a family. We really do love each other. We're good.
Yep.
So Hannah, I don't have any more announcements. So tell us what we need. Tell us everything.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Alexa. You're absolutely right. Just one more note about our New Year's Eve. It was so fun. She got to meet my family, which is great because let's be honest, I haven't had anyone over in 2 years, 3 years, obviously because of the pandemic. So this was amazing. So anyway, welcome to AnCan Art Friends. I'm your host, Hannah. I'm your art teacher. So we're going to be painting this Claude Monet water lilies inspired painting. And if you can think of a better name for it, please tell me. I'm all ears. But I love to do squishy brush strokes. It's kind of the only thing that really relaxes me these days because my life is far from perfect, and I feel like these squishy, crazy brush strokes, they speak to me. You know, they sort of encompass what my life is about personally. So I love to be able to teach this kind of thing because art is often put on a pedestal, right? People think that it's supposed to be perfect, and it's really not supposed. I mean, at least in my opinion, it's not supposed to be perfect. So it's supposed to reflect the artist. It's supposed to reflect you. So here's what you'll need: a canvas. I have a 9 by 12 inch canvas, but if you want to work larger, you absolutely can. I also have a couple of brushes. So my brushes here are going to be this flat brush, and this flat brush is going to be used really just in the beginning, unless I can think of some other way, but really just in the beginning to put our blue paint, basically our background, our base. That's all we're going to use it for. Our main brush right here is going to be our round brush. So this is a size 8, but if you have a size 6, that's also perfect too. Just somewhere that's kind of medium, I think would be good. And then our last brush is some sort of small brush. So if you have a pointy round brush, that would be great. If you have a small flat brush, kind of like I have, that works as well. So it doesn't have to be fancy or anything. I'm going to be teaching you guys step by step how to paint this kind of painting, but I really want you guys to have a little bit of creative freedom with it. Make more lily pads, more flowers in what you see, more scribbles in what you see, more colors. You'll think of something as we move along. As far as colors are concerned, we'll need our white paint here, and any brand you have will work. I just choose to use this brand because it's cheap. I use this brand because it's cheap. We'll need some kind of green, and it doesn't matter if it's a dark green or a light green because we're going to pull in our same blue to darken it up a little bit. We're also going to have brown. That's going to darken it up as well, make the waters a little bit more muddy. We're also going to need some yellow. This yellow can be used as our flower color, or it can also be used to lighten up the green as well, if that's what you need to do. In fact, we will be doing that. We will be lightening up our colors. What else? What am I missing? Purple. So this purple right here. Again, any kind of purple you want to use, we can always lighten it up with our white. We can darken it up with our blue, or if you have extra red, that would be good too. Any other colors you can think of would be totally fine. This is your world. You're painting your own water lily world. So if you want hot pink, then you put hot pink in there, okay? I don't care. whatever makes you happy. So let me set these aside. Don't forget to grab napkins. If you're messy like me, you probably need at least 2 or 3 napkins. If you are, well, you'll definitely need water. So I just have a little water cup right here. And then either a paper plate or a palette, something with which to pour the paints on. Now, did I miss anything? I don't think I missed anything. Does anyone have any questions? No questions? Beautiful. Lovely. Okay, I will let you give you guys another few seconds to go and grab your supplies if that's what you need. I'm going to go ahead and put this aside. I guess while you guys are doing that, I'm going to pull up a few pictures because I want you guys to see Monet's water lily paintings up close. That way you have an idea of what we're sort of aiming for. Let me see, share my screen. Oh, it looks, Alexa, can you give me screen sharing capabilities?
Of course I can. Anything for you.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I wanted to show up a close-up of one of Monet's water lilies. And I got all of my pictures from the Art Institute of Chicago's website. They have an amazing page dedicated to Claude Monet. So that's where I took those pictures from.
You should be good, Hannah.
Awesome, thank you, appreciate it. Okie dokie. I was hoping to just bring up a few pictures. Okay, so here's one. Can you guys see that?
No, but we can see your computer.
Yeah, it looks like it's
Ooh.
spinning.
We do not see any pictures though.
Really?
You might have to share like the actual preview instead of the file folder.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I'll just pull it up first. My computer's kind of doesn't want to cooperate. Okay, here we go. Okay, I have a couple pictures that I'm just pulling up. Okay, picture number 1. Hopefully you just see that.
Yep. You're good.
Yep. Okay, good. Okay. This was the initial picture that I was inspired by. So you can see lots of little brush strokes. None of them are realistic. So I wanted to make that point to you guys. None of them realistic. And honestly, we will be going kind of fast when we do that because the kind of brush strokes that it calls for are quicker and they look so much better when they're a little bit quicker. So that's one picture. Here's another one right there, a little bit closer. You can definitely see some other colors right there. It's gonna get messy, guys. We're gonna have a lot of messy brush strokes. Here's that close up of one of the lilies on the water. You can see when you look up close at it, it looks like a little blob. It's a pretty cute little blob, but definitely a blob nonetheless. Compare that to what a water lily actually looks like. That's a lot of detail, guys. We're not really going for detail. So I hope that clears things up just a little bit. I'll just kind of close off with this picture. So you can see some purples, you can see some pinks, some sort of like nude colors, I guess. Lots of green colors. We'll be doing lots of mixing.
Does Monet have a whole range of water lily pictures?
Oh yeah, it's a huge collection.
Okay, so he's got a whole collection full. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Oh yes. Oh yes. In fact, I had a hard time figuring out which one I wanted to look at because there were so many. So
right. All
right, guys. So let's begin. I'm going to start off with my blue. We'll go ahead and take that out. We'll need a pretty good amount, but I only like to pour out a little at a time. You can always, pour out more, but you can't really pour back in more paint. Not really. I didn't really wet my brush. There's really no need to.
What
Just
kind
gonna
of blue?
really.
What kind of blue are you calling that?
This one's it's called bright blue. I don't know if you can see that. It's hard to describe. How would you describe that? More of like a very much a classic watery blue. I don't know if that makes much sense.
Well, I'm
Like a darker sky blue.
Yeah, really dark sky blue.
trying to figure out how to make that with my whatever I got here.
Yeah. Now, whenever you put your paint down, I'm just going to put it all on there. Doesn't really matter if you go up or down or side to side. We just want that paint on there. Doesn't really matter if your brush strokes blend in together super well or not. We do want to have a flat surface, however, so just kind of smooth it out as you go along. Take your time with it. Really put your elbow into it. Sometimes you'll see me painting with my wrists, moving like that, or painting with my elbows. So I'm just kind of moving it up and down. I feel like that does influence the kinds of brush strokes we make. Any questions so far? Cool, you guys got this. We just want a nice smooth surface for our water lilies. After this, we'll be able to put the basics of our water lilies. I was doing a little practice painting earlier, and apparently I had been walking around with a little bit of blue paint on my forehead. And I didn't even realize it until maybe like 2 hours ago.
The true mark of a professional.
That's right.
Paint on your forehead. Okay. Just gonna smooth that out, and that's it. Normally, when I have a lot of a strong color on my brush, I actually like to wipe it on my napkin first before completely coloring all of my nice clean water. Only if I have a lot of it, I just wipe it off first, and then I can rinse it. In case you are wondering how to even rinse your brush, I always treat the bristles as a unit. So just kind of scrape it against the bottom. You can have it jump up and down if you want to. But again, treat the bristles as a unit. Don't really want to jab it or point it. Anything to keep the bristles together. Then if you have to go back and wipe your brush several times, then that's okay. I apply the same technique whenever I am washing my brush too. Except I use a dish soap. All right, you guys. I'll let you guys, give you guys another minute to do that. Okay. We do want that to dry just a little bit too. We will be going over and creating, I guess, sections for our lily pads. A lot of times, I'll see when I'm looking at Monet's paintings, I'll see them grouped together. The lily pads are all grouped together, although some of them do float apart too. But we're going to create those groups right now. Don't worry about the individual lily pads that kind of separate from the group. Don't worry about those. We'll just do the big groups for now.
Table.
And I kind of want to show you an example because this one right here, you can kind of see, I didn't put as many crazy brush strokes, and because of that, you can see the patches that we're about to make. So this is a patch, that's a patch, that, and so on and so forth. Then later, I went and put these individual ones in there. Whereas this one, I have a larger piece, it's a different piece. This one right here, there's a lot going on right here. I decided to create lots of individual separations. But again, you can get as crazy as you want with it. If you happen to have something that will allow you to fan the picture, then that would be helpful. I've got my other painting here, so I can just kind of fan it a little bit. We will definitely be using some of that excess, if you have excess blue on your palette, we'll be darkening up our lily pads first. We'll use the blue to darken it up, and we'll also use the brown.
Do you want it to be a real solid blue or a little bit of white sticking out through it?
Pretty solid right now. Yeah. I mean, you can definitely see a little bit of the canvas poking through. That's just where the paint is kind of thin in some spots. And that's not a huge deal, you know. That's not a big deal. You can see a little bit of that down here. Okay. Now, if your painting is a little bit wet, that's absolutely okay. We're going to start by creating our dark green. You can kind of see it in the back here. We have three kinds of greens here. Dark green, which is way back here. Medium green, which is kind of underneath all this. And then a light green right on top of everything. We're not going to worry about the other greens. We're just going to do a dark green right now. So let's switch brushes. I'm going to pour out my green and my brown. They're going to be kind of close by, close together, so I can mix them. Our palette's going to get pretty messy, okay? So if you're wondering how your palette should look, there's really no right or wrong answer here. So I'm going to take a little green, take a little blue, take a little brown. That brown serves as a neutralizer, so to speak. It evens out the tone, makes it less bright, a little more natural. And if you're like me, you probably have a lot of paint on your brush, so you can kind of swirl it around to wipe some of that paint off. So think about where you want your patches. Where do you want your patches to stick out? I have one up here, one in the middle, one down here. That's just how in my head, that's how I make things a little bit more symmetrical. But really, I want you guys to put these patches wherever you want them to be, okay? So I'm going to swipe all of these little swipes that I'm doing, they're going to be together. Some of your brush strokes are going to blend together. In fact, a lot of them should. The idea is that each brush stroke is a lily pad. And swiping is just an easier way to make those lily pads. You're using the shape of the brush to your advantage. Now, all of these spaces in between, they may be covered later with the other greens, and they may not be. I'm just going to leave it up to chance. I know in the original, I originally had some over on the side here, but maybe I'll switch it up a bit. Hope that's a little bit better. Side by side comparison. I'll switch it up a little bit. Maybe I'll lean more towards the left. Maybe I have a small patch there. You can see that my brush is leaning to the side. And I'm very often going back to my palette to grab more of this green. We do want to refill often. We're going to have some small lily pads. Some of them are going to be a little bit bigger. Just kind of depends on how you hold your brush or how much you squish it down. If you want, you can intentionally make some of your lily pads a little bit bigger. So say I wanted to make a big old lily pad right here. I can really stretch it out. The mother of all lily pads right there. And then maybe I want some to maybe go off to the side. We want to make it seem like maybe some of them are cut off on the picture. Now I'll create a few extra lily pads out here later, but I've got my main patches for now. Any questions? Right.
Not yet. I'm still getting my background done.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, you keep going. And it's okay if it's a little bit wet, you know, when you go in there to paint, because you're mixing the same blue with it anyway.
Right.
Well, it looks like you're not leaving a lot of space for these pads, right? I mean, it's almost like they're going to be a dark background.
Yeah, and you're right about that.
Because
Let me show you.
I'm showing dots, and I think that's not what you want us to do.
So this particular picture, originally it looked a lot more like this one, where you see a lot more space in between the lily pads here. But we're going to go over it with so many different layers that it's going to blend together eventually. You can kind of see the difference between these two. The idea is to have so much going on that your eye doesn't really concentrate on just one spot. All of the chaos, it all comes together to create a more cohesive picture.
Like life.
Like life. Thank you. Beautiful.
Are we
Hi,
going to be,
Lisa. Oh yeah, go ahead.
sorry, Hannah, are we going to be layering colors onto the water lily? So that is that a little darker green that we're looking for right now?
Yeah, so right now we're working from dark to light, but we've only done the dark right now. So yeah, if you can mix up your dark green. Do you need me to go over again how I mix the dark green?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. So I took my blue, so I put them all together. I have my brown, my green, and my blue. And I just sort of scooched some, maybe equal parts at first to the middle. So a little green, a little blue, a little brown to mix all that up and adjust it as necessary. So if you feel like it needs to be a little browner, maybe you want it to be a little more natural, then add more brown, add more blue if you want it to be a little darker. So you can see I kind of strategically place all of these colors together. Easier mixing.
So if you had a dark green, you don't need to do all that, right?
No, not really. You don't need to do all that. If yours is already dark, then I would say you can leave it as is.
Christmas brought me many colors, so
Oh, that's you, Brandy. Hey.
yes. Hi.
Yeah, hi. I was in the middle of saying hi to you and to Lisa, so welcome.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. Yeah,
Oh, you're good. You're good. You're good. But yes, I'm so happy you got so many colors for Christmas. I'm excited. Let's see. Okay, so we're gonna switch gears now, okay? We're gonna go ahead and make some of the shine on the water. And I'm doing that because I want to create a layered effect, okay? Some of these brush strokes that we're about to put, this is all the water. So you can go ahead and rinse your brush whenever you're finished with the lily pads right here. We will go back to it, like I said. We'll add those other greens later. But right now, I do want to focus on putting some of that texture in the water. So it's all a layering process. We're going to take our blue and we'll add a little bit of white to it. And you can actually kind of see 3 layers of whites on here. I'm sorry, 3 layers of blues on here. We have the dark blue that we started with, that's the background. And then the next part, which we're going to do right now, is we're going to add a little bit of white to it, make that texture. And then later on, we will add even more white to that bit of blue to create an even lighter color. So we're going in, we're making gradations, if that makes sense. So you can rinse your brush. Our painting is going to look a little chaotic, right? After this part. Later on, it'll come together when we put on those finishing touches. So I got my brush all rinsed. I'm going to bring out my white paint. See, that's kind of wet. Let me put it onto the side here. And I will put my white paint next to my blue since I'll be mixing those 2 colors together. I can always add more. I don't need too much right now, at least I don't think. And these brush strokes, these are the up and down brush strokes that you see. So we're going to create a little bit more of a medium blue, not quite a dark blue like what we have. We definitely want to be able to see it stand up against this blue. So it's a little hard to tell you exactly how much white to add. The only thing I can say is that it's definitely darker than a baby blue, that's for sure. It's more like a medium blue. I want a pretty good amount of this, so I have a little pile of paint here.
What brush are you using for that part?
Yeah, the same one, the round one. Got the round brush now. Well, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'll give you all another few seconds. There we go. Okay.
Sorry, you used blue, just blue and white? That's what you did?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, just blue and white. You got it. Blue and white to make that medium color.
Right.
I wanted to show you also my other painting too. This one's actually the first iteration that I made. This is that larger one. And then I had to make a smaller one because I just thought this one's a little too chaotic to be teachable. But
I love that one.
definitely. Thank you.
Yeah,
I do
I
too.
just there's so much going on here. So if you think it's a little bit too much chaos, then you're probably right on point. Then you're right where you need to be. So I just wanted to point that out. You can see it's a little bit more controlled in this one, but still on the right path. So whenever you're ready, You can really start anywhere. This is a big spot, so I'm just gonna start here. I'm gonna hold my brush straight up and down, and then I'm going to make these kind of vertical marks. They're all gonna be layered. As humans, right, we tend to just naturally have an inclination to make things more in a pattern. I tend to just go in a row, just as I'm moving along when I don't even think about it. But try to break them up a little bit. Try to break up that pattern. Gonna have a lot. Some of these brush strokes might be a little thicker than others, but that's okay. We definitely want to see some of that dark blue in underneath. And you definitely will overlap these water lilies that you have here. This is actually the reason why I didn't want to add those other greens just yet, because I knew that we were going to need some cushion to cover up some of these lines that will overlap. So keep on going. If you have a big space in between your lily pads, then you can put some of these brush strokes in there, but otherwise I wouldn't worry about it too much. It's gonna look pretty scratchy, but that's really what I mean when I say we want these painterly brush strokes. We want them to have character. That scratchiness is the kind of character we want. And again, we will be able to fix up our lily pads by going over it with those lighter greens later. Any questions?
You're going to end up covering the entire thing like this?
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Okay.
Whole thing. I'm just kind of making my way from one side to another. There's really no particular order in which you should go. And some of my brush strokes are a little bit thicker than others. That's totally fine. I definitely need to make some more of this blue. So feel free to stop and make some more whenever you need it. So has anyone done anything creative this past month? I always like to ask that question. If you're new here, I always like to ask that question. Anything you've done creative? I mean, it doesn't have to be art related.
I love to knit.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Have
that's
you
fun.
done have you done a lot of knitting? What have you knitted?
Yes. Well, I'm working on some like futuristic baby blankets. My boys I've got 2 in college and 1 in high school. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna put them away, you know?
Oh, that's cute though. What do you mean by futuristic though?
Well, like they don't even have girlfriends.
Oh,
She wants to be a grandma.
No, not anytime soon. Thank you very much. Feel like I'm still parenting.
Hannah, I'm glad you asked because when she said futuristics, I was like, oh, like when the Flintstones had the high square collars.
I always think of robots, so a lot of metal, a lot of angles and corners.
Right, right.
That's what
A
But I
corner
had
baby
to ask.
blanket.
I thought when
Yeah.
you said futuristic, you meant digital baby blankets, you know.
I love that though. I love that you're knitting a lot more though. I definitely don't know how to knit. Crochet has kind of been, one of those things that's on my radar. I feel like what was that?
It's very relaxing and just wonderful.
Oh, that's good. I guess one thing that I've done creative, or a couple things I've done creative, is try to come up with self-portrait lessons for, because I teach at the VA twice a week. And so having to come up with a self-portrait class that's beginner friendly, it's really tested my boundaries. Because self-portraits, you usually think, okay, you have to be specific to your own face, right? So I've had to figure out how to break down the human face in as simple of terms as I can manage, and it was really fun. I taught the first of two classes for self-portraits on Wednesday, and it went really well. It went a lot better than I expected.
Yay.
Are those
Yeah.
recorded as well?
No, no, this was live in person at one of the hospitals that I teach at.
But I mean, it's so amazing that you get to do so many things that get recorded. So, you know, as you move along and you get to see, what did I do, what worked, what didn't work.
Yeah,
Most
that's
of us
really
can't do
true.
that in life, you know?
That's true. Maybe one of these days I'll do a self-portrait class somewhere out there. Yeah, but that's what I love about the AnCan classes too, is that, you know, we want to record it because we want other people to see these lessons and partake.
So Hannah, I work with employee impact group at
Mhm.
at work, and I'm working on, we have an observation month every year, and April is our observation month, and so we try to come up with something unique and different and cool. And I'm really working hard on trying to get like some art or something.
Yeah, like what were you thinking? What are you thinking? Like a full-on class or something that's
No,
kind of
what we're
short?
doing right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Let's talk. Let's talk. I love that. I love that your company does things like that.
Oh, I'm trying to make it happen.
Mm-hmm. Oh
And
yeah.
last year, one of my girlfriends in town here, she sponsors an inclusive rock band. And last year we had them come and sing. They sang 3 or 4 songs.
Huh.
And that was sort of my artsy thing, my creative thing that I did last year. So this year, you know,
Oh, that's kind of cool. What kind of music did they play?
Rolling on the River. Oh gosh, that was a year ago and I have MS.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. I don't blame you at all.
I mean, just you know, just classic rock
Oh yeah.
music. I mean, it was nothing
Yeah.
super fancy, but the majority of the rock band has autism. One has Down syndrome. I mean, so it's just amazing, and they have instructors that work with them, and
Yeah.
the community here is having a prom in the beginning of February. They don't call it a prom, but you know, they're all getting dressed up, and I can't think of any other word to call it but a prom.
Yeah.
And so I'm volunteering for that, and the band is called the OBX Shredders because I live in the Outer Banks and they call the Outer Banks OBX, so they're the OBX Shredders. And
What's the organization?
it's the Mustang Outreach Program. that does that works with them and, you know, practices their songs and coordinates and stuff like that. And I mean, they're just amazing and they're so much fun.
Andrea, I'm just down the road from you,
Oh yeah? Where you at?
Chapel Hill. So a little down the road, but
Oh, so yeah, I came here from the
Oh.
triangle. Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, so my neurologist is in Cary, and when I told him I was moving to the Outer Banks, actually not in Cary, he's in Raleigh. I used to live in Cary. Anyway, I told him I was moving to the Outer Banks, and the first thing out of his mouth was, "Oh, that's a bit of a neurological desert, isn't it?"
Oh, man.
Yeah. Desert on a lot of health fronts.
So I go back to Raleigh several times a year.
Okay.
Hannah, can I ask you, since I'm improvising here?
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
I know it's weird. I'm on my tablet and it's like the dark green is, it looks like a like two-dimensional, which is blowing my mind. I'm like, why is that happening? I don't know. So I'm distracted looking at that. But you know, since
Okay.
I have to stick to a color, but then I can change it. So are you changing the tone of your second blue? Like, should I be
Yeah,
making
actually.
it a little lighter, whiter?
Yeah, actually, that leaves a really good point. That's the next step is to lighten it up. So if that's what you can do, Karen, on your
I
computer
think so,
program.
but let's see what I have.
Yeah, let me.
It's
see
just
up
so weird.
close.
I've never seen it look two-dimensional and I haven't learned what layering is.
I like that. No, I see what you mean when you say it looks two-dimensional.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah.
That's why I always say, I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, so I can just do some combination of that blue and change it.
I love the way that looks though. You did great.
I'm having
Very
to
cool. Okay.
improvise, you know what? Because if I just paint, it blobs over it. So I started with the paint and then I tried the watercolor tool and it was
Huh.
like, that didn't work. But then I could put blue back
Yeah.
over it. And now I'm using the calligraphy pen. So
Yeah. Well, I
And I'm
think that what
always amazed at what you can do with that tablet.
Mhm.
I mean, I
Mhm.
don't do I never do anything with it unless I'm in this class. So I'm really amazed. It's just like, it's not like I think, well, let's see. I think I'll, you know, I just don't. And it just blows.
But how
me
you take this class and you like look like you did, it's just what we're doing, only,
Mhm.
you know,
Only
only you're
on
doing
a
it on a
computer.
tablet.
It's
Yeah.
It's
very
amazing.
thrilling. I mean, when I started doing those little white brushes, the little spots just now, I was like, my God, it's so exciting. It's so exciting.
So I want to just point out that I'm lightening up the blue just a little bit more now. This is going to be, it's not quite a baby blue. It's still darker than a baby blue. So I'm going to be a little bit more conservative with this color. I'm going to think about where is the most shine going to be on my picture. I mean, it's not a huge deal though. So I'm just going to choose maybe somewhere in the middle. You can see it's a little bit lighter because of that little bit of extra white in there. Now, this amount of lighter blue, I'm not going to have as much of it. It's not going to be as spread out. It's just going to be a little bit more concentrated. Perhaps I want my viewers to maybe look over here. You can think about that too. That's a little bit more of an artistic way of thinking of things. Where do you want your viewer to look? Maybe I want the eye to be drawn right there. Maybe I want it to be spread out just a little bit more. I mean, they're not super important questions, but just something to think about if you wanted to. If you wanted to take your art just kind of to the next level.
That's totally
Yep.
the next level. Yeah, I remember I did a performance art piece and someone invited me to a show. And then the lighting director said, where do you want the light? You know, how do you want the lights? I'm like,
Oh,
I don't know. I
yes.
guess on me. I mean, I don't know. Like, you're like, where do you want the viewer to look? It's like, I don't know.
On me? I'm the star, right?
I don't know. I mean, what? These are like intelligent
Yeah.
questions. I don't have the vocabulary.
But yeah, that's honestly that's what we're doing here with, certain art pieces. And when you're, just beginning painting, it's not a huge deal, but just something to think about for later. And I forgot to point this out earlier, but we will add slightly lighter blue than this later. That's going to be part of the finishing touches. That's going to be later. So we will be able to hone it even further, hone that light, I guess the drawing of the eye later.
That's where I get in trouble with my tablet because I have these color palettes that I select. And then it gives me like 8 spots to put new colors that I create, and then they disappear. And I'm like, oh my God, where'd they go?
Oh no. Now you can rinse your brush after this, whenever you're finished with that second light blue. I'm just gonna call it our third blue.
Hannah, should we be
Mhm.
changing the water?
Not really. I mean, you don't have to. And I say that because a lot of these colors are intermixed together.
Okay.
So even if it's super soupy, I guess, it shouldn't make too much of a difference, except for maybe later whenever we add the white paint. But that's going to be much, much later. I mean, if you want to, you can, though. I mean, it's not going to stop you. So I want to point out 2 differences between 2 paintings. So our next step is going to be to give our water lilies a little bit more depth. And for this painting, I chose to add some purple underneath it. And I don't know how much of this you can tell is purple.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I know on my picture, it definitely looks very purple to me. And that's just to give our lily pads a little bit of a shadow underneath it, to give it a little bit more weight. So you can totally choose to use your purple either straight from the tube if it's dark enough, or mix a little blue into it to make it darker. However, on the flip side, you can also add some brown to it. If you want it to look a little bit more natural, that brown is there to keep things natural. So you can even do a combination, like green with purple with the brown. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's what I did. So this is just to give our lily pads even more depth. So where's my so we're jumping gears a little bit again. So I got my purple. Now I could, once again, I could choose to use this straight out of the tube. It's dark enough, so I could, but let's change things up. Add a little brown to my purple. Add a little blue to my purple. Just a little at a time, just to see what happens. Personally, I'd love to add a little more brown to it. Maybe even more brown than that. So far, it's mostly purple and brown with a little bit of blue, because that blue is pretty strong. At least mine is. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but it's kind of what that looks like. So this part is a little bit more abstracted, I would say. This is where it really gets, what's the word? Where you really get to blend some of these colors together and squish some of these things together. I started off with underneath here, kind of scraping the side a little bit. And remember how I mentioned
Smaller brush?
abstracted?
Are you using a small?
I'm using that same round brush that we've been
Okay.
using. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah. And in some spots I am going to press down a little less hard. So all I'm doing is pointing towards those really blue spots that are kind of in between the lily pads. They're always going to be, I'm always targeting the undersides of my lily pads. Even if that means going right on top of some of those blue brush strokes that we just put down.
I wasn't
And
paying,
this,
I wasn't paying good
Uh-huh.
enough attention.
I wasn't
you're
either
good.
on the
And
color.
so what are you doing again?
You're good.
Am I
Yeah,
the
we're
only one who
just,
wasn't? I mean, like, so what are you doing with this? That's your purple.
yeah, we're making a shadow for the lily pads. So our shadow consists of purple. Well, at least mine consists of purple plus blue plus brown. So 3 different colors. I was saying that if you wanted it to be brighter, like this picture right next to it, you can just use straight purple, like, just purple without any mixing. But I wanted mine to be a little bit more on the naturalistic side. So I did purple plus brown plus blue.
Because you
And
know
we're
what
creating
you know what
shadows.
you're doing.
I'm just I'm teaching you guys a new technique.
It's all, I mean, all that stays in my head, I notice
Yeah.
somehow, because each time I do something, you're in it, you're in the picture.
One of these days, I would love to go back to San Francisco to visit you, Karen. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I also visited Karen in October when I went to San Francisco. A lot of fun. Had a lot of fun.
So you're gonna have
Oh,
to visit the North Carolina beaches now.
yes.
True, when the weather gets, well, one of the benefits of having Hannah visit, my doctor at Kaiser is in what used to be an old post office. And so
Uh-huh.
who else would be interested? I said, do you want to see where I go to the
Yeah.
Hannah was really intrigued by the architecture in Alameda. And I said,
Yep.
and another AnCan member was with us. And I said, look, this is where I go to the doctor. And they're like, ooh, like, who
Yeah.
else would care?
Yeah. Exactly. Who else? Except people who are sick all the time. We care about where you go get your care. We really do. No, that was interesting. That was an interesting building, actually.
I have taken pictures of the inside. I was like, okay, I have to send her the inside. She'll see what it looks like. It's all art.
Uh-huh.
Deco.
Which that does sound really interesting, actually. I love that you can pinpoint a certain time period. Okay, so once again, I'm just sort of putting these very loose, brushy brush strokes as the shadow for my lily pads. Every once in a while, if you really want to get into it and make it different and interesting, you can start to maybe make these kinds of up and down brush strokes that kind of extend from your shadow. Again, it's kind of a more complicated technique. But it's there if you wanted to do it. Kind of extending some some vertical brush strokes downward just to make things a little more interesting. Kind of stretch that down here. There we have it. All right. So now that we've kind of gotten a handle on these types of brushy brush strokes, I'm probably going to be moving just a little bit faster. The next step will be to add the second layer of green. So we're going to make our lily pads brighter now. So we'll probably do the 2 types of greens in consecutive order. So what we'll do is we'll bring our yellow into the mix, and we'll make our green a little bit brighter, and we'll add that medium green. And then right after that, that's when we'll go in and we'll make it even more light. We'll probably add a little bit of white to the mix, and that'll really make it lighter. So we'll do those one after another. So safe to say that whenever you're finished with the shadows, you can go ahead and rinse your brush. And once again, even when I'm rinsing this brush, I always want to treat the bristles like a unit. Always scraping. A lot of times I like to scrape the sides. Because it's a round brush, I like to roll it around in my fingers. Where's my napkin? Here's my napkin. Okay. I'm excited to make this green because it's really going to make things a lot brighter. Going to make it all stand out. So for me, I have plenty of green here. So let me go ahead and pour out my yellow, strategically placed right next to my green with my white nearby.
And that
So-
green is different than the green lily pads we already did.
This one right here, yes, this is actually the straight out of the bottle.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Yeah, because this one we had mixed the brown and the blue with it, if I remember correctly. So yeah, this one's straight out of the bottle. So I'm gonna scrape some green to the side, scrape a little yellow to the side. I remember how we created the lily pads using those sideways brush strokes. We're gonna do the exact same things. I'll probably add a little bit of white paint to mine, just so I can see mine a little bit better. The white paint really changes things. Okay. So I'll just start down here. Doesn't really matter. See how it really stands out. Now I am going to go over my lily pads again. However, I still want to be able to see some of that dark underneath it. So I'm not going to go over the whole thing. In fact, there might be an extra lily pad or two, thrown in there, because I definitely don't want it to be perfect. I don't want it to completely align. And that's why I mentioned in the beginning that sometimes your faster brush strokes can be better for this kind of situation. That way you don't have to think about it too much. But same kind of sideways brush strokes.
And you're using that same round brush.
Exactly. Same round brush. So let's go a little faster. Just an observation for my own lily pads up here. It's a little bit harder for me to distinguish lily pads in here. So I'm just gonna go for it. Just gonna keep on going. Yeah, and that'll be that. Like I said, much faster process now that we've really gotten used to these kinds of brush strokes. And anytime you can see some very scratchy brush strokes in which you don't really have as much paint on your brush, that's a great thing to see, because Mr. Claude Monet, he definitely had tons of scratchy brush strokes. Where you can really tell that he didn't grab as much paint as you would expect, you know, in some brush strokes. And you can kind of tell that the actual paintbrush that he used was probably really scratchy or really stumpy even, in which maybe he cut the bristles off a little bit to get the desired paintbrush stroke. I love dissecting paintings like that. Just kind of one of the things that I love to notice.
I feel like I'm
This is,
painting all over my purple.
yeah, I mean, you can definitely go back and add some more purple too if you feel the need.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is also your time to add a few extra lily pads wherever you see fit. So maybe I can go back to, I have a messy brush, right? So it doesn't really matter that I had the light green on here. I can just go back into my dark green or maybe just the green that came straight out of the tube. Maybe I can add a couple out here, just random little guys floating out here. I just kind of swiped those little random ones out there. And then let's see, I can also go to those little individual ones and add a little bit of my light green to those too. Maybe later I will add that purple. Yeah, that dark purple that we made. I'll go back and I'll add that later. Anytime you're ready, so whenever you're ready, you can go in and you can add your last lightest green. So this little pile right here, I can add more yellow and I can add more white to my little pre-mixed pile here. Kind of mixing that up. It's much lighter now. And just like with the white, not the white, the lighter blue that we added, that last layer of blue, we won't really have as much of this one. Just kind of very lightly swipe it here and there. I am going to want you guys to go over and add more of this very light green later whenever we bring out that smaller brush. Actually, we could do that now. I'm just looking at the painting. We actually could do that now. Yeah, anytime you feel ready to switch gears and bring out that tiny brush, you can do so. This is just a little, something that I like to do. If I have a lot of paint on one brush, I'll just kind of scrape it off onto the next brush. So I'm not wasting anything. So once again, we're on the lightest green. So we've already pre-mixed the lightest green, but I've just switched over to my tiniest brush so that I can add tinier brush strokes. Just kind of tap it and go. And this is where it gets kind of fast because I feel like this painting, or this kind of painting, it calls for these quicker brush strokes. Here's another thing. I just keep adding things again and again, minute after minute. So I'm going to add another thing to you, for you guys. Do you guys see these swirls right here? These kind of very brushy swirls.
Mhm.
What I'm gonna do, actually you see them in purple and blue and the light green as well. So since we're on light green right now, we can go in there and just create these little swirlies with our tiny brush. These swirlies are really gonna overlap everything. They're kind of game changers for this painting. I'm gonna make a couple swirls here. They're gonna look pretty scratchy. They're not really completed circles, at least not all of them. These kinds of scratchier brush strokes, they really bring the painting together. Really helps to make it look a little bit more like a Monet painting, because his paintings are very, very scratchy. And I'm not really gonna go over every single lily pad with these scratchy brush strokes, but I am gonna have a lot. Kind of like I'm making little wobbly rings around these lily pads. And definitely don't be afraid of overlapping your shadow area and your water area. There we go. And I'll have more of these little wobbly rings with my light purple once I make it, and maybe even some blue too. There we go. I'm really happy with this big lily pad right here. I think that one's my favorite. Maybe later on I'll make a little a duck or a swan. And not for this class, but like it just popped into my head. Make a duck or something in here.
Or frog.
Or froggy, yeah. You're like,
I mean, lily
what else
pad
is there?
makes me think of frogs. That's all.
Yeah. Little fishies maybe.
Yeah.
I wanted to get a beta fish lately. I won't, but I don't have space. But I really want a beta fish one of these days.
What is that?
It's one of those really pretty fish that have bright colors and really flowing fins.
It
My
always makes me
girlfriend,
sad. Go ahead.
my friend's daughter, 14-year-old daughter, just recently got herself a beta fish. She absolutely loves it. Her name is Jade, or his.
Jade.
We're not sure if it's his name or her name, but it's Jade.
Yeah. If they have really long fins, those are the males. If they
Okay.
have much shorter fins, then those are the females.
I think it's a female then. Okay.
Okay, yeah. I actually beta fish were some of the very first pets in general that I've ever owned.
Uh-huh.
Loved them. If you take care of them, they can live 2.5 to 3 years.
Yep.
Yeah, they live a while. All right, guys.
Oh, knowing you, Hannah, I'm like, oh, what happens when they're done?
I know. I love all my animals. Yeah, I think my favorite betta fish, because I've had several, but my favorite, I named him Davy, and he was a pink and white betta fish. Very gorgeous. And he lived for like 3 years. He was a fighter, that's for sure.
Speaking of animals, can you see my golden just came over? Can you see him? No, maybe not.
I'm looking for your screen.
Is that Colleen?
Oh, yeah.
Look at your
Yeah, Colleen.
baby.
That's Ruby
Aw.
Sue. Yeah.
Oh, cute baby.
She's 9.
Aw.
Sweet
Just came
girl.
up and checked on me.
She was very comfy. All right, guys. So, let's add, trying to see what am I missing. Let's go ahead and add some different colors in here. I'm gonna use my tiny brush now. So I definitely want to make sure that's clean. And remember how I mentioned that we're gonna add some light purple and also some light blue? Well, they're gonna be in the same ring pattern that we just did with that other tiny brush. So the light purple, all I did was really just add white to my purple. So I've got the tiny brush because that's what we want. We want the smaller brush strokes. And I need a little more white paint, so I'm gonna pour that out. This is also your chance to add more colors, maybe different colors if you want. These colors really just serve to brighten up the painting, to make it a little bit more painterly. I can't really say what they actually are because I don't really know. I just felt the need to put them in there, so they're there. If you want yours to be a little bit more on the realistic side, you can skip this step. You don't have to add this. This one, I even added some really light green swirly marks here. Or I'm sorry, not light green, light yellow, light blue, light purple. You can add anything else you want to add, really. I'll just start with light purple. It's really more of a lavender color, but you can make it as dark as you want it to be. So just kind of pick a few lily pads and go for it. Maybe you can aim for the ones that don't already have a ring around it. That's an idea. Or you can keep all the rings concentrated to one particular area. You can have it evenly spread all over, or just a few touches here and there if you want. It's really up to you. This is where you can really make it your own. You want it to be a little more on the scratchy side. So if you didn't really load your brush with paint, then that's perfect. But if you did, that's okay too. There we have it. You can't really tell, but I put a good amount right here. Anytime you're ready, you can move on to blue. So all I did was mix a little bit of white with my blue. If you have a whole different blue that you wanted to try out, perhaps an aqua, you can do that too. I can't wait to see everyone's pictures. We're getting close. I think I will add aqua, guys. I am gonna add aqua. Can't resist. Yeah. Okay. After this part, whenever we're finished, all we have to do is add our lilies, of course, but then also add just a few brush strokes that are really, really light blue out in the water here. So these brush strokes actually, you can choose to have them go against the grain, so go in the opposite direction than these vertical ones here, or you can keep them with the same pattern, like what you see right here. Totally up to you, totally up to what you like. Personally, I love it when they go against the grain and when they kind of wrap around these little lily pads back here. Just makes it look more painterly. So that's what I'm going to do. But again, if you want to keep to the same pattern, you can certainly do that. So with that, I'll give you guys another few seconds.
So where did you put the lighter or different color blue? Also in
Yeah.
circles around things?
Yeah, also in circles. You can't
Okay.
really see it so much because I didn't put that much. But definitely just kind of follow the same pattern, same areas. Definitely want to put some more like up here. Okay, so I'm gonna pour some more white for myself. Don't need a whole lot at this point. So this blue that we're going to be using, it's going to be our lightest blue. Definitely more towards a baby blue color. And we're not going to have a lot of it. Definitely not. It's more to represent really bright glitters on the water. So the water really glistens really brightly on these spots. So if you wanted it to be to look more similar to the brush strokes that you have, those vertical brush strokes, then you'll just go up and down in a few spots. Remember how we talked about the drawing the viewer's eye into one section? Well, this is that. And I am using my smallest brush. And again, you can start off this way if you want to. But if you wanted to change it up a little bit and have it look a little more like this one, then I'll show you how to do that right now. I'm gonna grab some more. This is where you go against the grain, against that initial texture that we have. So let's see, maybe I'll start right here. It's a little scary at first, but you'll get the hang of it. I'm starting to scribble a little bit. I'm not gonna refill often. I'm gonna sort of hug some of my lily pads like I did right there. Very scratchy brush strokes. Here I go. Just wipe it all the way across. Going for it. A little bit of a zigzag pattern there. I tend to do that naturally, personally. And I think that's it for me. Again, I'm not going to have too much of that. All we have left are the lilies. Can't wait to see everyone's picture.
No, don't look.
Yeah, don't look for sure.
The
I
pressure is
have
on.
faith. I have faith in you guys. I do. I can't wait. I do want to, while you guys are finishing up those horizontal parts, or the lighter parts, I should say, just remind you that we also have a post-class survey. So I can, or maybe Alexa, did I send it to you? I think I sent it to you too. I did. If you wanted to post that in the chat, that would be amazing.
Okay,
Really,
I'm on it.
thank you, Alexa. And I will also email it as well to you right after class. So we have the post-class survey. It goes along with that before class survey that I mentioned in the email. But if you didn't do the before class one, that's okay too. But we're looking for grant funders too, and this kind of information really helps them to quantify how much these classes are benefiting you guys. So I know it's kind of hard to quantify, you know, art, but that's the best way we can do it. So Alexa will post that link in the chat. So let's do some
So Hannah,
lilies.
that
Uh-huh.
first email you sent earlier today had a link for a pre-class survey?
Yes, yeah, pre-class survey.
I didn't
But if you
read it,
didn't,
and okay.
yeah, it's okay if you didn't do it. You can just do the post-class survey if you want to do that.
Big giant letters,
Mhm.
you know, right at the
Oh, yeah.
top, say, do this before class. Sorry.
Less text, more big letters. Got it. I gotcha. All right, guys. So I cleaned off my tiny brush. So I want to use my white paint first, simply because that's going to give me some cushion to work with. My white paint is more opaque, so it'll be able to stand out some more. And lilies, from our perspective, all of the leaves are going to be radiating outward, if this makes sense. So I'm just kind of pretending that this is the flower right here, and the petals kind of radiate outward. So we're just going to pick a lily pad, any lily pad, and use my tiny brush to scrape one petal at a time. Has a flat bottom like that. I'm actually going to move this closer so y'all can see that better. There's my palette. There we go. And then maybe I'll put one right here. I like to start with the top petal and then have them radiate outwards after that. And if they're not lined up, hey, that's perfectly fine. They don't have to be perfect, and they really shouldn't be perfect. Do you guys remember that close-up of a lily that I showed you guys in the beginning? It was really just lumps of paint, scrapes of paint. From there, once you have just the basic white structure of your lily pad, you don't even have to rinse your brush. Just go one color at a time. Say I want a yellow lily, I can just double dip into my yellow and then go right on top of it. Following that same pattern, really just retracing my steps. Double dipping. I can do that with any color. Just be sure to go one color at a time. This is after you've already put down all of your lilies in white paint, which I didn't do. I need to rinse my brush now. maybe I'll just do one more up here. No, one more over here. There we have it. And like I suggested earlier, didn't I say if you wanted to do hot pink, you could do hot pink? I'm gonna do hot pink.
I'm so behind, I'm catching up and it's like, it's probably gonna make it look better, you know? You know, when you,
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
take so much time concentrating and it's like, just
Uh-huh.
throw some paint on there, you just don't have time. You know, you can't even get to the lily, you're just so far behind.
To be fair, it takes time and a lot of courage, I guess, to go quickly on your painting. So
I know,
maybe it is a
I'm
good thing,
doing
like
it
you
now, and
said.
it's just because I keep losing the colors and I don't know how to find them again, how to make them again. I don't know
I
what
feel
I'm
like
doing.
they have so much character, though. They do. There we go. So I added those hot pink lilies in there. While you guys are doing the finishing touches and, you know, catching up, like in Karen's case, is there anyone who would like to show their pictures? Anyone who wants to show us
Yeah.
what they're doing? We would love
Oh,
to see them.
Catherine, here we go.
Oh,
Oh
there we
wow,
go,
I'm like
Catherine.
huge now. Hi.
Yay!
Oops.
Oh my
Look
God.
at you.
Oh, wow.
That's cute.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
But they kind of look like,
Oh,
That's
I
very
think they're like
nice.
mossy rocks, but I'm good with that.
it's so pretty though, and I love your lilies too.
Thank you.
Yay! Thank you,
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Catherine.
Catherine.
Sure.
Yes.
Anybody else?
Yeah. Who
Hey,
else?
Catherine, can you show it again? I lost everything. I didn't
Sure.
get
Okay.
There we go.
There we go.
very cool.
Awesome.
Now
So
make her
pretty.
take a picture and send it to you, Alexa. You know, I notice in the gallery, we don't show
Yeah.
up anymore.
It's more that a lot has been going on.
Oh, okay. Because at somewhere I read that it's like, well, people aren't sending them in, and it's like, really?
Oh no. Yay! Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you, Catherine.
Okay, you guys, I'll show you mine.
Yeah.
I'm coming a ways.
Oh, that's
Colleen.
beautiful.
Okay, you guys, I got to show you this other thing. Hannah, I went to one of those classes before MS, and I had a lot of wine. Matter of fact, I just got up to go look for some, but I didn't see any.
Yeah.
I wanted to show you. I did this.
Oh, wow.
Yay.
I know, and
Look at that.
you know, like all my other pictures here, guys, like the owl, like I want so much to do them well, and I'm like, well, that doesn't look like an owl, you know. So it's like this might be the only thing I can do.
Oh.
Monet stuff. So when I saw your email, I was like over the moon.
I love it. It's so beautiful.
A lot of
Both
fun.
of them. Thank you. Yay.
Anybody
Yeah,
else?
if you can just do Monet style painting straight from the beginning, right from the get-go, you're on a good track. Very cool, you guys. Yes, please, anybody who wants to share their work.
All right, Wendy.
Oh, here you are,
that's
Wendy.
beautiful.
I know. I
Very
love
wow.
Perspective on it.
the depth. Yeah,
That
the
looks
depth.
very 3D.
It
Yeah.
does. And honestly, I love that they're all spaced evenly apart. What is that? Are those toothpicks?
You're muted, Wendy.
Yeah, you're muted, Wendy.
Toothpicks
Oh, what did you use that for?
for the lily, you know, the flowers, because I don't have the fine brush
Oh,
Yes,
Wow.
that's a great idea.
It
Good
just
job.
it adds so much depth, right?
yeah.
Wow. Honestly, that's such a great idea. Where are you in
And
here?
So you can
it's
use
very
it for another
MacGyver-y.
class.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Marianne, were you wanting to share? Yes, okay. Oh, that's beautiful.
There we go.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Very pretty.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's
I
so
love-
tranquil.
I love that
Oh.
it looks like a far out aerial view where we're looking at it from a distance. I
Ah.
love your lily flowers too.
Oh, thank you. I like this. This was fun. Thank you.
Yay. Thank you for sharing, Marianne.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Beautiful.
Ooh,
Cool,
snap.
guys.
And remember, you do not have to share, but if you want to, we want to highlight you, spotlight you, and celebrate
Mhm.
you. So, okay, Tony,
Mhm.
you're up.
Oh,
There we
wow.
are. Those
Oh,
taped edges, they're so nice.
Yeah.
So nice and crisp. And I love that you have so much depth going on too. Like your lilies, like the lily pads and the lilies themselves look like they're 3D.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you.
awesome job, Tony, as always.
Beautiful, guys. This makes me so happy. I'm so happy you guys like this
All right,
painting.
here we go.
There we go.
Oh, wow.
I know. Look at those.
I love the different takes too.
I
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Must
Two
be
different
twins.
takes.
it's like one is realistic and the other is dreamy.
Yeah, that's a
dreamy.
good way to describe it.
Wow.
That's so beautiful, guys. There's
Thank
so
you.
much contrast within both of them too.
And I do think that Hank,
Yep.
okay,
No, that was Sam. You're right.
Sam approves.
Sam approved. Yep. Beautiful. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yay.
I could show mine.
Yeah, Anna Marie.
Yeah.
Can-
Oh,
can you see?
gorgeous.
Wow.
Very pretty.
Oh.
Wow.
Thanks.
Look at that. I love the multiple colors on each lily.
That
Wow.
looks like a
they're-
fantasy picture.
It sure
Again,
does.
It looks like it
yeah,
should be in
really.
a spa.
Thank you. I like doing this.
Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Susie?
That's amazing. You all should send your pictures to spas.
Oh, that's
there we go,
so
Susie.
pretty.
I
Nice.
know.
The pink just
Oh.
pops.
Oh,
It does.
yeah.
It really does.
It
How's
does,
this
yeah.
look?
There's a lot of movement going on too.
Yeah.
Like I can
like a lily.
Yeah, I guess.
yeah. Well, I definitely feel like I'm seeing some currents in the water.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of
water. Yeah.
yeah, no, I love it. Thank you. Man, you guys really did so well with making your lily areas look 3D. Like I'm really impressed with that. Oh, Andrea, I
It's
see.
blurry.
Yeah, let me try to unblurry it.
It looks like your paintings in the witness protection program.
Oh no.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Oh,
I
that's so
love that
relaxing.
texture.
Nice.
Mhm.
The swishes and the flow.
Yeah.
Very pretty. I
the-
love the swishes.
I love the way you tackled the different lily pad areas too. Just the overall shape of them is really cool looking. Very pretty. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice.
Are you gonna want to share and you're not done yet? If so, you can raise your hand. You can let me know.
Mhm.
Or if nobody else wants to share, that is totally fine. Or if you want to finish later and send me a picture, because we have the
They
art
have
gallery.
pink in them, hon.
How would
What
I
was that?
know? Everything is green to me in the pond.
Oh, Barbara, you'd like to show? Okay.
I was just
Barbara, there
finishing
you
up
are.
my last little lily. I'm not sure about them. My paintings always look so chaotic.
Let's see it.
That's
Oh,
not
hey.
chaotic at all. That is
Wow.
beautiful.
That's great.
I know. Seriously, the contrast in this one is really nice too. I feel like I'm looking at little islands
Yeah.
with a lot going on. There's a lot of life going on each of them. Beautiful. Thank you.
Awesome job, Barbara.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else before we head out? All right. I mean, we will have the recording as well. So if you're still finishing up, then that's totally
Yep.
fine.
Yep.
I can share mine. It's pretty rough, but
Let's see
so
it.
I just started putting blue, like the darkest blue back over stuff because I was not a fan. Yeah, I did not capture what you all captured with the dark green in the back. Something happened, but
No, but you captured something else entirely, and it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
It looks really
Well,
good.
I like that you went back over it with that blue, because it's giving it more depth. That's what I'm seeing. It's giving it more depth,
yeah,
more character, but in a really good way that captures a lot of Monet's essence, because you can see the push and pull of values when you really look close at his work. So I think you did fabulous. I do.
Yeah, you
thanks.
did
I'm gonna keep.
fabulous.
Your
keep
lilies
working on it.
adds like 3D-ish to me. Like they stand out, like kind of 3D. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
All
I'm
right,
jealous.
Hannah, I think if nobody else would like to share, and if you do, just wave your hands very quickly so I can be like, oh, then I think we'll call it a night.
Yep. Don't forget to complete that after post survey. The link is in the chat box. So we would love if you could do that. I think that's about it. I don't know if you have any announcements, Alexa, but I think we're good.
I guess a brief announcement that I'll make. If you are in the Tucson area, AnCan is going to have, we are going to have a booth at the Arizona Oncology Conference. So feel free to come on down and say hi, or if you know anybody, we're going to have a great time. And plus there's free food massages because that's a spa, so.
Fancy.
They don't make you register for the conference?
So we'll say
They do, but it's free.
Say hello
Oh.
to Rick from us.
Yes, Rick met me at the airport, and my fiance Brian has been with Rick for the last 4 days, and they hung out together while I was at the other conference. So
Nice.
we're
Lots
a
of
real
bonding.
family at AnCan.
Mm-hmm.
I spent my holidays with Hannah. I spent this with Rick, and my fiance spent this with Rick. So yeah, and we love what we do because we love all of you, and we love to support you. That's just what we do. So good night.
I
everyone.
love you guys so much. You two are so good together. I dream about coming to this class. I just want you to know I love you guys so much.
Aw.
We love you
too.
We love you too, Wendy.
All right, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.